Hi everyone, I'm Bea Kim, professional snowboarder, and welcome to the Earth Day 2025 virtual stage. I'm very happy to be joined here with Erin Sprague. If you could please give us a little intro, that would be lovely.
Hey B, I'm surprised we're getting you off the snow. I am Erin. I am the CEO of Protect Our Winters. If you haven't heard of us, the cool kids call us POW. And we were started in 2007 by another professional snowboarder named Jeremy Jones. He was out in the world and noticed that the snow around him was changing. And at the time, think back to 2007 and where like climate was then. He thought to himself, what can I do about this? And he recognized that he had this really core passion for just getting outside, snowboarding, hiking, skiing, riding bikes. And he realized that those experiences were threatened by climate change. So he brought together a group of athletes, companies, scientists, and just everyday outdoor enthusiasts who love to get outside and turned it into a movement for climate action. So that's how I spend my days, and it just feels super exciting to work on the challenge of our lifetime.
Yeah, and what is this challenge, this problem that we're facing today?
Ah,
Big
big
question.
question. Yeah, B like jumps really high off of half pipes and asks big questions in interviews. So think about your daily lives if you're watching this. Like if you get outside, maybe you've noticed like the summers are really hot, the water and like droughts that are affecting, big areas of our country, flooding that's been happening on the East Coast and from hurricanes. These are things we're experiencing in our communities now, and the science reflects that. In the past decade, we've had the hottest years on record. The past 2 years have been the hottest years on record. And so when we focus our efforts at POW, we're focused on stopping climate change. And, I get frustrated sometimes because it's this issue that's become political and divisive when at the end of the day, we all love nature. We love getting outside. We want to protect these places and we need to come together. So the good news is that climate change is super solvable. We have all of the technology today to fix this thing. The challenge is we have to overcome some systemic changes. So, in order to fix climate change, we have to change how we travel, how we heat and cool our homes, how we work and live, the sources that we use for energy. So it's a really big transition and it's going to take a while. And our focus at POW is how can we do that as fast as possible so we stop experiencing these negative impacts in our communities.
Mhm. Yeah, I really liked what you said about all of us just loving the environment because that really, at POW, that's what it's all about. We're all just all skiers and snowboarders and hikers. But everyone gets to bring their own special thing to the table, which is so exciting. Everyone gets to just do what they're good at to help the cause, which I think is really important. Specifically with this winter, have you noticed in Colorado, I know you're in Colorado, any lack of snowfall? How's the winter been for you guys?
It's been variable, and this is one of the things that happens with climate change. So sometimes you get actually a lot of snow, sometimes you get very little. So I'm sure all of you have an experience. Maybe you live on the East Coast, maybe you've been to Europe, you booked like a big ski vacation, and like, oh, there's no snow. Or there's just like really weird hot and cold temperatures every other day. And that instability is a result of the changing climate. And if you look at what's happened over time, we work with a partner at Aspen. They run the resort there. And they've actually done a study that over the past 40 years, they've lost almost a month of winter to rising temperatures. And this is a high altitude resort in Colorado. Think
Mhm.
about some of the lower altitude resorts on the East Coast and in other places. So our snowpack is irrefutably changing. It's getting warmer. These sports are threatened. Another sport we work with are Nordic skiers. If you've heard of Jessie Diggins, she's the best Nordic skier, male or female, in the history of the United States. She just won her third consecutive overall World Cup. And she almost hasn't been able to race because a lot of the conditions she's facing are just a total lack of snow in the Midwest, in Europe, in places that traditionally are very full of snow. We've heard from ice fishermen. It's not our usual target market, but
No.
ice fishermen throughout the central US who are like, oh, or like we can't do this. Like the ice isn't freezing in the same way. So, a question to reflect on if you're listening to this is, have your experiences changed? Have you noticed differences in your winter experiences and the ways that you can get outside? And the science absolutely backs up that that is happening. And I think about my kids and want them to be able to experience the beauty of winter, the magic of the holiday season, and the gathering and connection that that delivers, and that's at risk.
Yeah, I mean, I myself grew up in the outdoors and spending a lot of time with family, and that's where I built a lot of those connections. And so, you with your daughters, that is so incredibly important. Yeah, I've been following Jessie's story and her season. She's had an incredible season so far. Just a lot of grit and perseverance, and I've been like scrolling through her Instagram stories, and I'm like, oh, the weather looks so nice. It's so sunny, which is great for people to spectate and to watch in great weather. But as a fellow athlete, as a snow sports athlete, I'm also in the back of my head wondering, how's the snow conditions? Is it melting? Is it fast enough for them? Yeah, so it's definitely something. Um, yeah, and like you said, it's really impacting the people in the snow sports world and the culture. But also, like you said, those ice fishermen, and it affects people's daily lives. And I think sometimes we forget that and don't think it just doesn't cross our minds really.
Yeah, and I would say be like we're so grateful to you. Like, you're someone who's out competing at the highest level. And one of our models at POW is for our athletes, be as a member of our POW Athlete Alliance, to be trusted messengers. We spend a lot of time together talking about climate, training on it, learning about it. It's something that continually evolves. And our goal is, let's have these athletes like red, blue, or purple, we don't care. They're out achieving some of the greatest possible things for our country, and all of you are raising awareness for this issue in a way that is fun and inspirational and is rooted in our shared love of sport and getting outside.
Yeah, definitely. It's regardless of where you lie and what you believe in, it's a communal effort and it has to be a group effort for this to work for us. So for people who are watching and are saying this is great, like I want to get involved somehow, what are some easy ways that they could get involved to kind of help this cause?
The first step I recommend is to learn.
Hmm.
So, climate is a technical and scientific topic, and there are so many resources out there now, and there are so many people coming into the movement, which is really exciting. One of the first aha moments in climate that I think is really important is the difference between individual action and systemic change.
Hmm.
So when we look at changing human energy systems, the actions we take as individuals, we should absolutely act in ways that embody our values. But ultimately, we have to come together as a collective. Ultimately, the numbers don't add up unless we're pursuing change at the highest possible level. So that means we all have to find a way to get involved with government action, advocacy, things that as just a person, living in Colorado, I'm like, well, how can I make a difference in that? And my recommendation is to first learn and second, join an organization and be a part of a movement
Yeah.
that drives systems level change forward. So the way POW does it is we do a lot of work in Washington, D.C., and now at the state and local level, advocating for more energy to transition from fossil fuels to sources of clean energy like wind and solar. We advocate for more public lands, so beautiful places in Utah, Colorado, Montana, California, the types of places that you would go and vacation with your family and have a lifetime experience because those lands were protected for all of us to experience. We do a lot of work in that. So join an organization, and you may think like, okay, I'm joining an organization. What difference does that make? It makes a lot of difference. People are the fundamental source of power in this work. When you go to a policymaker, they care about, do you have influence? Are you coming from my district? Are you representing something that's going to help me with my initiatives and get elected? And guess what? When you join a collective and when you join an advocacy organization or a movement, you don't even have to like go to the protest. You have to show up in your numbers and
Mhm.
support the work of that advocacy organization to show the power of climate as a movement for changing the status quo. So we
Yeah.
have a way to do that. It's called Team POW.
Mhm.
You can join on our website. You can hang out with really cool snowboarders like Bea. And if not POW, find another one, but find a way to get involved so that together we're bigger than any of us alone.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Thank you. And you at POW are our strong leader. You're showing us the way. And I had that same experience. I didn't know what I should be doing. I joined POW and I got the opportunity to go to DC with you, and you showed me the way of how to talk to these representatives about our own experiences to really carry that story. So yes, join an organization and join the group movement. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you taking the time. Yeah, and we'll close out the virtual stage.
Awesome. Thanks so much.